Can Dustin Poirier knock out Islam Makhachev and secure UFC undisputed gold for the first time in his career? Well, stick around to the end of the video to find out. What is up, guys? It's Maz back with another video, and today we got a UFC 302 prediction video, and I'm going to go over the entire card, so don't worry about that. The prelims, I'm going to go over a little bit quicker, and then the main card, I'm going to do a more in-depth analysis and give y'all my entire take on each fight. So let's get into the video. So for the first fight today, we got Mitch Raposo versus Andre Lima. And for this fight, I'm going to go Andre Lima. Even though Mitch Raposo could get him down to the ground, I think Andre Lima's takedown defense is going to be too good for that. Plus, Andre Lima has a pretty decent reach advantage on him. And he has really good leg kicks. Like, his leg kicks are a thing of beauty. So I think that will play a major role in this fight. So I'm going to go Andre Lima. Next one, we got Aline Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards. Now, this one was tough. I had a hard time determining who's going to win this fight, but I ended up going with Jocelyn Edwards. I think her reach is going to be a big thing in this, and I think Aline Perez isn't going to be able to get takedowns on her, even though she is very good at getting takedowns. I think Jocelyn Edwards is just going to keep her at range with jabs and teep kicks, and I think she ends up winning that fight. Next one we got is Mickey Gall versus Basile Hafez. I've watched Hafez fight recently against Jack Magdalena. It was a great fight. He actually almost won that fight. It was really close. A lot of people thought he did win that fight. And then Jack Magdalena just beat Gilbert Burns a little while ago. So, and then Mickey Gall, ever since he beat Sage Northcutt, he really hasn't had like any big moments in the UFC other than that. So I'm going to go Basile Hafez. He's more of a brawl and wrestler type, so I think he just brawls with Mickey Gall, and he might even get a knockdown on Mickey Gall because Mickey Gall's striking isn't very good. Alright, to start the prelims, we got Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews. And Jake Matthews has been in the UFC for a very long time, even though he's only 29, and his experience in the octagon is ridiculous for his age. So I'm going to go Jake Matthews. I think he's just fought more high-level opponents than Phil Rowe has. Even though Phil Rowe is a very good fighter, and look at that reach advantage, it's ridiculous. But I'm still going to go Jake Matthews in this one. I think he finds a way to get it down to the mat. I think he ends up winning the fight. So next we got Grant Dawson versus Joe Schleck. This one's a tough one. I am going to go Grant Dawson in this one. I think his experience in the octagon is the big thing here. I think he's just fought way high level of opponents compared to Joe Schleck. So I think he will end up winning this fight. I think it will be closer than many people expect, but I got Grant Dawson in this one. Next up, we got Yalton Almeida versus Alexander Romanov. And even though Almeida got knocked out by Curtis Blades, the other fight that he had, I think he was winning that fight up to that point. He was just taking down Curtis Blades, which is kind of crazy to think about because that's Curtis Blades. He was a phenomenal wrestler in the heavyweight division. But I think he ends up winning this fight, even though Alexander Romanov is also a great wrestler. I think Yalton Almeida's strength will prove to outweigh Alexander Romanov's wrestling. And I think he will probably tire out Alexander Romanov. I know Romanov doesn't have a great gas tank. So I think probably second round submission. I think he'll tire him out the entire second round, then he'll be gassed, and then he'll just mercy submission him in the end of the second round. Alright, final fight of the prelims. This one's a tough one. The odds did change right whenever I was making this video because I think Almeida was a slightly favored in the fight. And Almeida's 5-0, phenomenal striker. He has had one fight in the UFC, but I'm going to go Roman Kopylov. I've seen this guy fight. His striking is so crisp. Even though he lost his last fight, I still think he wins this one. And he's a southpaw, and Cesar Almeida hasn't had that much fighting experience, only 5 fights. So I think fighting a southpaw will prove to be slightly difficult for Almeida in this one. So I got Roman Kopylov to end the prelims out. Before we get into the main card, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss another video on my channel. Alright, let's get into the main card. So we got Randy Brown versus Santos for the first fight on the main card. I'm going to go Randy Brown in this one. I think his reach will prove to be too much for Santos. And even if it does go to the ground, I think Randy Brown's grappling ability will thwart anything that Santos tries to do on the ground. So I'm going to go Randy Brown in this one. I will go Randy Brown by decision here. I don't think there will be a KO or any submission win here. So Randy Brown by submission, or Randy Brown by decision in the first fight on the main card. Next one we got is Nico Price versus Alex Moreno. Now, if this was a couple of years ago, I might go Nico Price here, but I think Nico Price has just taken so much damage to that chin that he doesn't have the same stability that he had earlier in his career where it looked like he couldn't get knocked out. I think he can get knocked out now. I don't know if he will in this fight, but I think Alex Moreno takes this one. Even though Nico Price does have a pretty big reach advantage, he's going to try to turn it into a brawl, which I think Alex Moreno, he can deal with that, but I don't think he will want to make it a brawl, even though Nico Price, like I said, doesn't have as good of a chin as he used to have. I'm going to go Alex Moreno in this one. And I'll go by second round KO for Alex Moreno. All right, next up we got Kevin Holland versus Mikhail Oksilov. I'm gonna go Kevin Holland here, and this is why. He just fought Michael Venom Page, and he got kind of dominated. So I think the UFC just kind of fed this guy to Kevin Holland. And look at this reach advantage he's got on him. 7-inch reach advantage. Every story of a Kevin Holland fight is him having a reach advantage over his opponent. And I think it's going to be a first round KO. I think he's going to prove a point that he's still that type of striker. He's still that type of guy. And I think he KOs him in round 1 and gets the victory. Alright, next fight. This is the second last fight. And by the way, this is a 5-round fight. If you don't know, it's not a 3-round fight, it's a 5-round fight. So if this was a 3-round fight, I would lean more towards Paulo Costa. But because it's a 5-round fight, I'm liking Sean Strickland's style of fighting more. I think he's just going to pop his 1-2 down the pipe the entire fight and then just parry any type of striking that Paulo Costa throws back at him. But if Paulo Costa is able to get a knockdown in round 1 or 2 of the fight, it's going to throw off Sean Strickland's kind of groove that he gets into. Because if he gets into a groove, we saw this in the Israel Adesanya fight, where he knocked down Izzy in round 1, and Izzy was just incapable of coming back in that fight because Sean was just in such a groove with his 1-2 and parry that it was like impossible for Izzy to get anything off. So, and then you see that Sean has that reach advantage here. That just goes even more into his popping his 1-2 and then keep kicking down the middle, just keeping him at range and keeping him away from him. If Sean Strickland is able to keep Paulo Costa at range, it's not going to be a fight. I got Sean Strickland by decision in this one. I think Sean Strickland will probably win 4 rounds, and then Paulo Costa will probably get 1 from landing like a big shot or something, but I got Sean Strickland in this fight by decision. Alright, this is the big one everyone's came here for. But before we even get into anything, these gloves are whack. They should be black with gold trim instead of gold with black trim. It looks really weird. So UFC, next big main card, if you're gonna do this, make it black with gold trim. Alright, besides the point. Big fight, Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Porier. Massive fight everyone's talking about. Can Dustin knock out Islam Makhachev? Can he get him in a flying guillotine? I can answer one of those for you right now. He is not going to get him into a flying guillotine. That's for sure. But this fight is going to be tough. If Dustin can keep on the feet and keep Islam off of him, then I think he can definitely win this fight. I don't know if he'll knock out Islam Makhachev, but he's definitely more crisp on the feet than he is. And plus, I don't think Islam's fought a type of striker like Dustin Poirier in his entire career. Dustin's a southpaw, but he's used to being orthodox but he just likes his power hand to be his jab, it's kind of weird the way he fights. But if he can keep it on the feet, he can definitely have a chance against Islam Makhachev. If Islam gets it to the ground though, I don't think Dustin can handle it at all. I think he's just gonna swarm him on the ground. So he's got to stay off the cage, stay in the middle of the octagon, go to toe-to-toe with Islam. Doesn't matter the situation. He's got to keep him at distance. Got to throw kicks down the middle, gotta pop that jab, keep him at distance so he isn't able to get close to him to get a takedown. But my prediction in this fight is I think Islam wins by 3rd round submission, and here's why. I think the first 2 rounds they're pretty close. I think Dustin wins 1, Islam wins 1, so you're tied 1-1 going into round 3. And I think Islam just implements a extreme wrestling game plan in round 3 and takes him down immediately. And then I think he just dominates him on the ground for the entirety of that 3rd round. And at the very end, I think he gets a submission. I don't know what type of submission, but I'm going Islam by round 3 submission. That's it for the UFC 302 prediction video. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Dustin gets it done? But before you click off the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and help the channel grow. It would mean a lot to me. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.